And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Stonadge channel. And today we are live for the Premier League Debrief. Now, obviously, we introduced to you last week Prem Faces, and now we've got the Premier League Debrief. I'm hoping and aiming to do these every single week, just because I find it really, really fun to go through and actually offer some opinions. And yeah, not just do watch-alongs, don't actually talk about football, which is my favourite thing to do in the world. But yeah, it's good to see David and the Villa player already in here. How are we, ladies and gentlemen? I'm just going to lower my mic here as it's taking up more of the shot. We don't want more of the shot. We want me in the shot, right? Because, well, it should be anyway. We'd hope so. I'm also going to move myself across. It's a bit of a last-minute one today. I was planning on streaming yesterday as well, but being honest, guys, it's been a long weekend, and the university is starting to ramp up as well. It has been crazy, so it doesn't really matter too much. We're back, and we're ready to rumble for tonight's live stream, where, as you can see by the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about all things AFC Bournemouth against Liverpool, and a lot more as well, else in the Premier League. It's just, yeah. Yusuf's in the chat. Good to see you, mate. So yeah, I've not had, obviously, there's a lot to do with external factors, but there's a lot of internal stuff as well to discuss when it comes to Liverpool. But we're not just going to discuss Liverpool today. It's going to be everything Premier League, as we have done previously. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I really, really would appreciate that. And yeah, Amir Ali's in the chat. How are we, Amir? Good to see you. We went from 7 up to Coke 0 performance, 0 points. Paddy thinks we're going to beat Real Madrid. Listen, whatever Paddy comes out of Paddy's mouth, I'm not sure he even realised what he's saying before he says it, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. I naturally judge his opinions because they are woeful, bless him. I love the man. I absolutely adore the man as someone to work with and banter with, but when it comes about football, yeah, the football ability is... The football knowledge is questionable. We have to say that about Mr. Murphy. But anyway, Bournemouth against Liverpool is something that we will be covering a little bit later. But I want to start from yesterday's games on Sunday. We'll go through pretty much everything and get right the way back to the start. So Newcastle against Wolverhampton Wanderers yesterday. I'm going to start this off by saying, I expected Newcastle to at least get something out of this one. In fact, I've got the results I predicted right here to see how many I did get right, if I can actually get it and not try and break my entire setup. So Newcastle against Wolves. So I had 1-1 written down. I thought both teams would get something out of the game, and I genuinely I genuinely think Newcastle will, be in the battle for the top four. And they continue to be, obviously, even with their bad form, and a 2-1 win against a tough side in Wolverhampton Wanderers exemplifies that. Now, obviously, a big thing from this game for Newcastle was Alexander Isak getting on the score sheet. Big money signing. A lot of people likened him to the sort of Robinhos, the big starting signings at Manchester City that they made when they initially got their money. Alexander Isak is the big one for Newcastle. Him alongside the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Kieran Trippier, that sort of thing. And he got on the score sheet. Exceptional header, by the way. Real good flick and power on that header. I love a real top quality header. I don't know what it is about it, but when they're executed right and the real aim and the execution, it really, really made me happy, this goal. It genuinely did. And Isak with the header, 1-0 Newcastle. Wolves equalised, and it was a bit of a terrible one. Kieran Trippier, who put the ball in for Isak, it was an exceptional ball in. But he had a very, very good game for Newcastle. He was really, really, really good. And then he gave Wolves a goal out of nowhere. He literally, I don't know what he was doing. He was looking to clear the ball, and eventually, fluked his way into the path of Hwang Hee-chan, who absolutely gobbled up at the opportunity. And why wouldn't he? He's a good finisher, Hwang Hee-chan, and he was in the right place at the right time. And he did it once again. Would have been a deserved result for Wolverhampton Wanderers to get a 1-1 draw. Just looking statistics wise, Wolves actually had more of the ball. Although Newcastle dominated shots wise, they weren't exactly exceptional in comparison to Wolves. And they got the winner in the end through Miguel Almiron. A bit of a fortunate deflected effort. Fair play to him. I'm really happy to see him having a good season. What a boy he is. But I was very nearly bang on with my result, guys. I was nearly absolutely spot on. Unfortunately, for myself, Almiron got that goal, so there's nothing for me from that game. And to be fair, I've got no qualms with it. I think Newcastle are going to be challenging for that top 4 spot. From a Liverpool perspective, it's a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit frustrating when it comes to a Liverpool perspective. We obviously wanted Newcastle to drop points, but we didn't think it would matter because we thought, you know what, we'll go and beat Bournemouth on the weekend. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for the discussion about that, and we will do a lot of discussion about that. But it is a Premier League debrief, guys, and it's not just a Liverpool debrief. We'll go next to Fulham against Arsenal. This game will be known for Leandro Trossard and his exceptional playmaking. The 3 assists that he got, one from a corner, of course, and another, just a couple of excellent passes. You know, Leandro Trossard's a player who I don't particularly like because he always seems to have a great game against Liverpool. But in general, he is someone who's really impressed me. And the fact that he's gone to Arsenal and is performing the way that he has done, he's perfect for Mikel Arteta's system, and fair play to him. The 3-0 win, Saliba with the Gabriel with the opening goal, Martinelli with the second, which was, can I put it out there, the worst defending I've seen all season from any club. That Fulham goal, it was actually awful. Martinelli was at the back post. The ball was sort of chipped up, floated, and Leno couldn't quite get there. But Anthony Robinson was looking over his shoulder. He knew Martinelli was coming in, but he just refused to jump. A lot of people likened it to Mitrovic's goal against us for Fulham at the start of the season. It's very, very different from that, because Martinelli didn't even have a run on Robinson. He was just there at the back post, an easy header in, awful bit of defending from Fulham, and then Ødegaard scored the third. It was a quite brilliant goal. They are very much in the driving seat now for the league, and it doesn't surprise me so. They're absolutely top quality, top draw side. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, Manchester City can keep winning, and they had won. They did win. Fair play to Pep Guardiola's side. But the way that they're going, Arsenal just seem like a train that cannot stop. So, West Ham United against Aston Villa. I also predicted a 2-0 win for Arsenal in that one, so 3-0 I was close. West Ham United against Aston Villa was sort of a mid-off. West Ham obviously much more in the Premier League relegation battle than Aston Villa are. Villa once again took the lead. Ollie Watkins is in the form of his life. I've always been a fan of Ollie Watkins, if I'm being real. And I know he's had his problems in the past with finishing. But the way that he took his headed goal once more in this game proves that he's probably taken that to a new level under Unai Emery, and that's really, really good to see. West Ham United obviously equalised through the penalty with Ben Rama's goal, and fair play to Ben Rama. I mean, he absolutely dispatched it, but it's real trouble for David Moyes now in the Premier League. West Ham United, of course, spent big in the summer, wanted to build from what was 2 seasons of exceptional performances, and getting into the 6th and 7th. And this year, it's just not worked. Something's not clicked. Maybe the change they had, maybe the Conference League has impacted them, what have you. But they are absolutely smack bang level on points, games won, draws, and everything with Bournemouth. So they're only out of the goal difference out of the relegation zone on goal difference. I worry for West Ham. I really do. I look at their upcoming fixtures. They have got Man City at home sometime soon. Newcastle at home. Southampton at home is going to be huge for them on the 2nd of April. Fulham away is going to be an absolutely huge game as well. Arsenal home. Bournemouth away. That could be absolutely huge. Liverpool at home. Man United, they've got some really challenging games and games with teams in and around them. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one for West Ham to get out of this. But I said 2-1 Villa. It ended up being 1-1, so they got a point on me. So Manchester United against Southampton. Let's talk about that red card. For me, and I've seen so many Liverpool comments. In fact, I'll go to Amarali's one here. Thoughts on Liverpool interested in João Palhinha from Fulham. He's a good player and his numbers are great. I would be happy to sign him. Problem is his price is 60 million. Also, the problem, Amir, is that he is 28 years old. We need to be refreshing the age of our midfield, and being honest, spending that much money on somebody who is as of the age that he is at that time would be, for me, I think, a problem. when we should be looking to sign players that are in their early 20s, maybe in their mid 20s at the absolute maximum, rather than signing players who are coming towards the twilight of their peak. We need to be getting people who aren't even in their peak yet. João Palhinha is a great player, by the way. He's been an exceptional signing for Fulham, but no way should we be considering him for that price. 20 million, maybe I'll think about it. United Southampton, let's talk about that red card. Casemiro was just... For me, I understand why some United fans were a little bit aggrieved by the fact, because he did go and get the ball, but the fact is that Casemiro lifted his foot on the follow-through. That was the thing that did him in completely. If he'd have completely gone through the ball, he'd have probably ended up for a yellow because it was two-footed. But the fact he went over the ball and into the leg of the Southampton player... yeah, it was a definite red card. And him missing 4 games, I mean, they're probably okay when it comes to top 4 Man United. But in general, I'd worry when it comes to the rest of the season, how far they'll go in the Europa League and what have you. I mean, they're only 2 points clear of Tottenham, and they'd only be 5 clear of Liverpool if they did lose their next one. So I don't know. I'd say they're pretty safe when it comes to top 4 anyway. And this loss will hurt them. It massively hurt them in that game. It looked like he wasn't even playing at Anfield. So I think he'll hurt them massively this time. He's a cracking player, Casemiro, and that winning mentality that he brings. Looking at Manchester United's upcoming fixtures as well. Real Betis away, they look like they're through in that one. Brighton away, Fulham in the Cup at home, Newcastle away, that'll be a really tough one for them. Brentford at home, Everton at home, Forest away, Chelsea at home, Spurs away. So the ones he'll miss are Man United in the Cup, I think, Newcastle away, Brentford at home, and Brighton away, I think, are the 4 that he'll miss. So it'll be an intriguing one to see how United get on without Casemiro, but he's going to be a big miss. And credit to Southampton in this game as well. I know they were playing for 10 men against 10 men for a long time, but they could have easily conceded and folded in this game. They defended well. United were unlucky. Bazunu made some great saves as well. But yeah, hey Josh in the chat, good to see you. But at the same time, Southampton, I think, deservedly got at least a point and possibly deserved more than that going into Old Trafford, and that's a massive result for them in the relegation zone as well. Crystal Palace Manchester City was a game that was a lot closer than I particularly imagined. Obviously, going into the game, Crystal Palace are at the moment the most out of form team in the Premier League. They've been absolutely woeful in 2023, and to be honest, their performance level didn't really improve, but neither did Manchester City's. Erling Haaland obviously got the penalty and scored, but City only had 4 shots on goal against a pretty woeful Palace defence. Now, I'm saying that from a Liverpool perspective, maybe that we probably had even less than that when we played them, but Palace just don't look like scoring. They are abhorrent. It's like watching Roy Hodgson's Palace again. The last time Palace actually won a game was on New Year's Eve against Bournemouth. Ever since then, they've drawn or lost every single game. A lot of draws, and they're still bottom of the Premier League for 2023. And to be honest, I worry for them. They sit themselves in 12th place. Yes, that looks okay on paper, but they're only 3 points ahead of the relegation zone going in, and played a game the same amount of games as Southampton, Leeds and Bournemouth, as well as West Ham and Leicester. Everton and Wolves have played one more and are both looking to climb their way out of this mess. But it's going to be a relegation battle for the ages, ladies and gents. But yeah, Haaland scored the penalty. Fair play, well done. That was basically the game, to be honest. That was the game. It was dull. It was nothing really, so fair play to City for picking up the victory, but those are the sort of games that you have to win in title races, and it kept them in check with Arsenal. They're only 5 points off still. Arsenal just can't stop winning at the moment. They can't stop scoring goals either. They are just relentless right now. So yeah, on to the next one then, and Leeds United against Brighton and Hove Albion, which is what I predicted to be a 2-2 draw, a 2-0 win for Brighton, and it came out to be a 2-2 draw. For me, I thought Brighton threw the game away. However, they were 2 absolute rockets for Leeds United. First of all, Bamford's effort got a slight deflection, but it was a really, really good idea to shoot early to catch Jason Steele off guard. And what a hit it was in the end. Yes, deflected, but off the bar makes it always look class, doesn't it, when it's off the bar and bounces in. And Jack Harrison's effort was amazing after he scored an own goal to give Brighton a 2-1 lead. The fact that Brighton are coming into these games and now leaving them disappointed with a draw is indicative of exactly where they are as a football club. They only had 2 shots on target during the game, and Jason Steele was, challenged several more times, but they're bossing games now. They are far too good for teams like Leeds in general, and they're coming away disappointed, which I think is, as I said, so very indicative of where Brighton and Hove Albion are. They're just absolutely different gravy, aren't they, at the moment? And they're wiping floors with teams. And the fact that they drew, I mean, it's good news for people if they're chasing the top 4, because Brighton still are very much in that race, which people do forget. But yeah, it's a decent result. Going to Tottenham Hotspur now. I said it would be a 1-0 win for Spurs against Nottingham Forest, of course. So I thought it would be a really tight game. I envisaged it to be a really tight game. At the start, it looked like it could be like that, but unfortunately for Forest, it went downhill when Harry Kane put in his first goal. A really, really good, powerful header. It almost seems like it's genuinely always going to happen that Harry Kane's going to bag a goal, and fair play, he did so. What a goal it was as well. He then bagged the penalty just minutes after that, 2-0 at half-time before Son scored a third. Obviously, we haven't even talked about Richarlison having a goal ruled out. Still yet to get that goal for Spurs, but I'm sure it will come for the Brazilian. Son got the third and Worrell got a consolation for Forest. Sort of a nothing game really, but it's a massive win for Spurs. I thought it could be a potential banana skin, but Forest are very, very different away from home from what they are at home. A bit like Liverpool, actually, to be honest. And I know we'll talk a lot about Liverpool in the coming 45 minutes. But yeah, I think it's an unfortunate one. Forest obviously going into the game expecting nothing. They got themselves a goal. They got a nice day out at a great stadium as well. Spurs, a 3-1 win, puts them back up into the top 4. So yeah, well done to Antonio Conte and Tottenham, which is bad timing because I also recorded a video for Sunday. There was 5 managers to replace Conte if they lost. So I'm gonna have to re-record that. Anyway, Leicester against Chelsea. Now, I was thinking that this would be, again, a really, really tough one for Chelsea. But maybe, just maybe, they've turned the corner. Despite the fact they went 1-1 when Patson Daka equalised after Ben Chilwell went and shushed the Leicester fans, which I think he's got some bollocks to do that. I certainly wouldn't do that. He went there and against a club who treated him very well and did all of that and that. Really, I don't understand why he's done that. To then, going out there and winning after having that setback. I think Graham Potter will be very, 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 very happy with what he's seen. Especially the win over Dortmund was huge. That win there, I think it could propel them back into sort of Europa League to Conference League contention if they continue along this sort of line. Don't know whether they will or not. But they are. They've got quality players in that side. We can't ignore the quality they've got. It's the fact that it hasn't really clicked yet, but maybe this is a sign that it has. Obviously, Kai Havertz scored. Kovacic scored. He only does worldies, doesn't he, Kovacic? But that puts Chelsea back into 10th place. They're 5 points behind Liverpool with the same games played. They're only 1 point behind Brentford, with them Brentford having a game in hand. They're 2 points behind Fulham. So. Yeah, I don't know where Chelsea will finish. They could genuinely finish 11th or 6th. It could be anything. But they need to put a run of form together to ensure that they do finish in a respectable position and get into Europe for next season. Because I do think getting Europa League is doable. But LD says we've got so many average. I don't know if you're talking about Chelsea or Liverpool there, mate. But I think Chelsea in general can be happy with that win and move forward. Everton beating Brentford. What a huge turn up for the books this was. Of course, Brentford hadn't lost a game since before the World Cup. They were in really, really good form, looked really tough to beat. But I'll tell you what, the best time to go for a team is in the first minute or two, and they certainly had that. The response from Dwight McNeil after just 35 seconds. Brentford bossed the game again. They should have equalised. They had multiple chances. But fair play to Everton and Sean Dyche. They held on, and he's doing his remit at the moment. He's got them out of that relegation zone. It's monumental for Everton to psychologically get an advantage on the people behind them and around them. And that win over Brentford was just so big, just so big. And I think they'll go on from here. I can't see them, running away from the relegation zone. I think it's going to be a real long battle. They've got Chelsea away next, then Spurs at home, United away, Fulham home, Palace away, Newcastle home, Leicester away, Brighton away, City at home, Wolves away, and then Bournemouth at home. Those are their remaining fixtures. Being honest, if I'm being real with Everton fans here, I can see them beating Tottenham at home, potentially. I can see them getting a result against Fulham and a result against Palace. I can probably see them get a result against Bournemouth as well. I can't see anything else for them. So I would worry. If I was an Everton fan, how many points do you think you need now? You probably, to guarantee safety, I think it's going back to the old adage of 40 points. And if you get your 40 points, that'll be a success. Isabel, would you mind getting my charger from over there and plugging it in if possible? Yes, please. Thank you. Anyway, it's I do worry for Everton, but anyway, we'll move away from them because we don't want to talk about them anymore. It's 22 minutes into the live show, and we're going to start talking about the actual video content that I want to talk about. Liverpool. Liverpool. They are funny, aren't they? So we come into the show on Friday. And I am, I'm buzzing and bumping and dancing around 7-0, 7-0. To be honest, I titled the video, Liverpool might lose, just potentially to get some people clicking on and be like, you're going to lose. No. We did. We lost. Every single one of the superstitions, the 12:30 kickoff, the kit, the Bournemouth away, I don't even know if we have a bad record against them. We've lost one game there, and it feels like we have a bad record. I honestly have no words to explain what happened on Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon. Sorry. Let's just talk statistics for a second, and I'm talking very base level statistics here. We had 15 shots to their 5, 6 shots on target to their 2. The first sort of period, I wasn't watching the game live, but I rewatched it today. And the first sort of 25 minutes, I would say were okay. In fact, until Bournemouth scored, I would say we're okay. So that's the first 28 minutes. I thought we were actually quite good, quite bright, had chances. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they got their goal, it was a switch. A genuine switch in how we thought. We somehow we had Van Dijk's effort, which was cleared off the line. We had Mo Salah's effort, which was saved. Robertson, also saved. We had an effort saved from Neto, but then all of a sudden, 28 minutes in, Philip Billing pops up with the goal. To be fair, I have to say, Ouattara from Bournemouth, I really, really like. He looks like a top signing. I mean, you can see why a lot of big clubs were after him. And the fact he chose Bournemouth is a massive advantage for them. But Ouattara, I really, really like. And fair play to him. But we're not focusing on the good of Bournemouth today. Right. So we'll go from top to bottom and showcase the issues. This was not, and I know a lot of people will have a go at me. This was not a Jurgen Klopp issue. This was not an FSG issue. This was a players issue today. On Saturday, it was a genuine players problem. Some of the substitutions, yes, were a little bit strange. I have to say that. But if you look at the options we have enough there to beat Bournemouth. We have a man who just played the game of his life, Cody Gakpo, last week, who was poor. You have Mo Salah. I mean, we'll talk about that penalty in a minute, but great record against Bournemouth and didn't show up. We had Darwin Nunez, who was absolutely abhorrently bad on Saturday. I have to say, as a man who is a massive Nunez connoisseur, absolutely adores him. He was dreadful. We bought Jota on, we bought Firmino on, we bought Carvalho on. There's goals everywhere. Harvey Elliott's there. In general, I don't know where to look and who to blame, but I look at the players. And I see a mentality problem, because as soon as 28 minutes passed that goal switch, that's a mentality issue. If your brain after one goal can go like that and change like that and switch like that, it makes me wonder, right? What would have happened if Bruno Fernandes had scored that header for United? What would have happened if they'd have scored early? Because, yes, it was all great and happy when we were ahead. But if we'd have gone behind, it's been a common theme this season, all right? We haven't come from behind very often at all this season, right? And it doesn't help when you concede first on a regular basis. This is a worry for me, a genuine worry. And it's not from this game, it's from the whole season. From the whole season, I worry about the individuals who don't have the capability to pick themselves up when they go a goal behind. That's it. I think if Liverpool go a goal ahead in games, it's rare that we lose now. Right? I'd love to see the stats this season of games we've gone ahead in and lost. Because there's not many. There's genuinely not many this season. In fact, I'm going to go through our entire fixture list and find ones that we've gone ahead in. Fulham at the start of the season, we went behind initially, and then went on to draw. Crystal Palace, we were behind. United, we didn't go ahead in. Bournemouth, we went ahead in and won 9-0. We went behind against Newcastle, to be fair. That's one. Didn't go behind against them. Didn't go behind against any. There's very, very rare occasions that we genuinely... Right, there's very, very rare occasions that we have the mentality to come from behind anymore. But the issue is how to solve this is either, right, give them some of that 1920 juice and the confidence that we had in those seasons when, we went 1-0 down, it didn't matter, we go again, we treat it like we're 0-0 and we go and score goals and put us ahead. Or you prevent teams scoring first. You have the mentality to go out there quickly and try and sort of regain the confidence after you concede. But it baffles me. It baffles me that we were able to throw yet another game away and pretty much make the United game irrelevant. And that's what I meant about the whole stuff. A lot of people were moaning at me saying, "Oh, Chris, you're being too negative about this 7-0. It's better than winning a trophy." It's not, lads, because the winning a trophy never goes away. And whatever trophy you think it is, it never goes away. It never gets popped, right? We could have lost this weekend, but if we'd won the League Cup last weekend, we'd have that, We'd have that in metal, in a trophy cabinet. Whereas we are looking at, realistically, 3 points lost and 3 points gained. So we're looking at break even on a match. Whatever happens, that United game, however much it was amazing and genuinely one of the best games I've ever been to, it means nothing now because of this loss. Right? It means absolutely nothing now. It's a worry that United were able to go and pick themselves up and go and beat Betis 4-1, albeit, fortunately, in my opinion, they shouldn't have won 4-1, maybe 2-1. They went and picked themselves up. They went and picked themselves up from that performance on Sunday and won 4-1. We had arguably an easier opponent, yes, away, yes, in the kit, yes, at 4:30, 12:30, what have you, and went there and just expected it. Like, you don't expect to win a game in the Premier League. You go there and you fight for everything. Robbie's just put that in the chat, and that is baffling. 12 points away from home this season. 3 wins away all season. So that's what? Newcastle, Aston Villa, and who? Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Spurs, and that's it. Oh my God, that's bad. That's bad, lads. That's really, really, really bad. Like, seriously. And those 3 are games that you think would be quite difficult. You know, if you look at those, maybe we went there and that is bad, lads. 3 wins, 3 draws, and what, 7 losses is that? Jesus Christ. I have no words for that. And that's a problem. If you go to places and expect to win, you just won't. It's a mentality problem, like. Amy's asked, do you think Alisson will go at the end of the season? No, Amy, definitely not. And if we did, we'd be in a lot more trouble. Alisson will be staying wherever. I hope he'll be staying forever and ever. As will, I don't think that we'll see a mass exodus of players this summer when it comes to the big players. But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to Liverpool this summer, how we can even form an opinion when we don't even know where we're going to finish at this point. I have no idea. It could genuinely be 4th. I'm not going to let this result cloud the fact we could still get 4th, but we've made it a lot more tough than how we should have done by winning this. If we'd have won this game, amazing. You know, that we're right in it. That is baffling. That start of the away facts. The away stuff is actually crazy. A lot of these players deserve a bloody pay cut, to be honest. Like, from this year, if you look at our form now, right? I genuinely thought we turned a corner. You know, Everton, Newcastle. I ignore Real Madrid. Palace, we should have won the game. We beat Wolves. We beat United. I thought we turned some form of corner. That corner has been proverbially destroyed. We don't have a game now in the Premier League till the 1st of April, where we've got City, then Chelsea, then Arsenal at home, then Leeds away, Forest at home. We've got Fulham as well in midweek before then, I'd imagine as well. But like, I am worried about City. I am worried about Chelsea. We've also got, before the end of the season, Spurs again at home, which is going to be monumental for our season, or one would hope. But those aren't really the home games. I'm not worried about the home games. I'm worried about the Leicester's away, the Southampton away, the West Ham away, the Leeds away, plus Chelsea and Man City away, if I'm being real. I think we'll win all our home games, including Arsenal. I think we'll have Arsenal on a plate. We'll have Arsenal at Anfield. I think we will win. There's no way, you know. I've got no qualms with us beating Arsenal at home. I think we'll win every game at home. But we just looked like I don't know. But anyway, the pinball up front worked against United, but usually like at Bournemouth, it didn't pay off. To be honest, I can't even make a comment on the strikers from the weekend. Every single one of them had a stinker. Although I think every single one of them has a future at the club. Don't get me wrong, apart from Firmino. They're not the biggest problem at the moment in general. It's what's going on in there, especially with the senior players. You'd expect the likes of Jordan Henderson, Mo Salah. By the way, another point. Why was Mo Salah on the penalty? Because I always had the impression that it was Milner first, then Salah. Why was Salah on the penalty? It confuses the hell out of me, man. I just don't know. Did Jurgen address that? I didn't even see. That kit. And let's talk about the kit, lads. Not only is it vile, but we always bloody lose in it. What's the point in the thing? It's disgusting. I'm actually baffled. I'm genuinely baffled by it all. Why was Milner not on the penalty? Like, if there's a man you want on a penalty, If I would have a penalty for my life, I'd have Milner on it. Why was he not given that penalty? Unless there was an agreement that Mo would take it, but he misses penalties, lads. He misses them. Like, not on a regular basis, but a lot more bloody regular than James Milner does. Milner bags. You know, why was he not on the penalty? I genuinely... I can repeat this forever because nothing makes sense in my mind. Milner had come on. He wasn't just on. He'd been on for 5 or 6 minutes. Like, it wasn't the fact he was cold. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh, well. Amir sent me a tweet. Oh, he's just linked me a tweet in the chat. He's like, oh, that's quite nice, actually, that. I'll save that and bring that up on screen. That is a very nice kit, that. So Amir's just sent me this is completely off topic, by the way, a kit from for the 2023 to 24 season, potentially a goalkeeper kit, I think. Is it, Amir? So here it is. I'll just bring it up on screen here. It's actually blocking my way at the moment, but here it is. It looks very nice, doesn't it, actually? I'm a fan of this. I'm a massive fan of this. Thank you, Amir, for putting that up. But genuinely, Milner's missed 1 penalty in his career. The smile of embarrassment. I've seen that. I saw that. To be honest, it's not something that particularly worries me. Because he always does these sort of things. But anyway, thoughts on that, lads? Thoughts on that? I like it. I think I pointed in the right way. I am. Thoughts on it? I really quite like it, to be fair. I would buy that. I would genuinely buy that, I think. But anyway, this isn't a kit review. This is a Premier League debrief. So more on Liverpool. I mean, where else are the problems lying, lads? One good thing, I suppose, that we saw was Fabio Carvalho actually getting some minutes for once. Arthur Melo was on the bench. Whoopie-doo. We've got a little bit more depth in that position now, although I don't think he's the answer. I think he's definitely a body. I'm trying to get some form of positive. But you could, as I think someone said earlier, it might have been Yusuf. I think that I think that you could replay the Bournemouth game and the Forest game. Like realistically, we should have won the games, and they were the same performance. Like, they were repeated the same performance, which worries me. And if you see things like that, mate, gutting. I'm just sad, lads. I'm just sad about the game. I mean, we got Man City next, lads. We got Man City next. We're not going to discuss Exeter City because it's the Premier League debrief and they're not in the Premier League. We've got 20 minutes to go, guys, and I am very sad. And to be honest, I'm probably going to go off after 45. But it's been a frustrating one. But I'll just go through my predictions and compare them to the results again. So Newcastle 1, Wolves 1 is what I said, and it came out to be 2-1 to Newcastle, so nothing for me. Fulham 0, Arsenal 2. Again, I didn't get it quite right. But Arsenal won 3-0. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2, I said, and it turned out to be 1-1. Man United 5, Southampton 0 is what I said, and it's 0-0. Crystal Palace 0, Man City 3, I said 1-0. Tottenham 3, Forest 1, it ended up being, I said 1-0. Leicester 1, Chelsea 1 is what I said. It turned out being 3-1 to Chelsea. I said it'd be 2-0 to Brentford at Everton. Everton actually won 1-0. And I said it'd be 2-0 to Brighton at Leeds. Turned out to be 2-2. And of course, I said it'd be Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. It ended up being Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0. It's just depresso, lads. Do I think Thiago will leave and Fabinho? No, and no. I think both players will stay there. We're already losing Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, potentially James Milner, and some other, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe some other players will leave as well. But one thing that I am worried about, and yet again, he wasn't on the bench again for Liverpool this time. Where the hell Where the hell was Curtis Jones? Was he injured again? Was he? Where was he? Like, surely, right, I would say he makes the bench over Arthur, right? That's my opinion. Or Milner. I'd put him on the bench over both of those. Where was Curtis Jones? Hey, Hannah, how you doing? Good to see you. But yeah, let's have a look, actually, before we go. Action Zone, which is absolutely mental. Going up, down from 12th to 20th. Anyone can go down. I'm going to count Aston Villa out of the relegation fight because they're on 35 points now. They probably need a win or two to seal it. But so between 12th and 20th, so you got Crystal Palace there on 27 points from 26 games. You then got Wolves on 27 from 27, Nottingham Forest on 26 from 26, Everton on 25 from 27, Leicester on 24 from 26, West Ham on 24 from 26, Bournemouth on 24 from 26, then Leeds on 23 from 26, and Southampton on 22 from 26, but also picking up on some good form. So you're seeing the likes of Palace in bad form, Forest are on a little bit of a bad run, Leicester have come right back into it after they looked like they'd be further away from the relegation zone. West Ham are in a real bad run of form, despite their 4-0 win a couple of weeks ago over Nottingham Forest. Their loss against Brighton and then the draw against Villa has brought them right back into it, and they just can't seem to score. They're a frustrating side to watch, West Ham United. They really are, because you know they've got the ability, but unfortunately they just can't put the ball in the back of the net. It's going to be a really, really crazy, crazy relegation battle. I want to get your guys' final predictions right now of who's going down. For me, I think Southampton will go down. I just think they, out of all the teams there, have got the least experience in their side, and maybe that could count for a good thing, maybe a bad, but they've only scored 20 goals all season. Leeds, I also think will go down. I can't see them at the moment. Actually, I can. They've got quality, Leeds. They have got quality. I'm going to say Leeds will stay up, and I think Everton will go down as well. And I think Bournemouth will go down. So I'm going to stick with my original three throughout the whole season. Bournemouth, Southampton, Everton. That's my three. Keita wasn't match fit. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, where the hell is Curtis Jones? Jones should be in that squad. I'm telling you now, he's better than Arthur. He's better than Milner. Like, at the end of the day, he is. He's younger. He's not been given the opportunities that they have. Like, get him in, lads. I know he has been, but he hasn't at the same time. He's had injuries. Also, I'm a big fan of Keita being called Keith. Wait, Alex, you're saying West Ham are going down? Alex, you're saying... Sorry, my West Ham supporting mate is saying West Ham is going down. Are you trying to jinx it or something? Are you trying to, like, anti-jinx it? Imagine West Ham playing the Championship in that stadium, by the way. That'd be so funny. Like, anyone could go down. Like, genuinely, even Palace, who are in absolute freefall at the moment. Leicester are in freefall. Like, we look at these teams, right? And Leicester and West Ham were challenging, the top four. Leeds were top half when they first came up. Wolves, I mean, even they were challenging the top 7 quite regularly under Nuno Santo. There's some great teams in this league now, guys, by the way. There really, really is. The league's never been as strong as this, but then also never been as shit, I don't think. Like, there's so many teams playing well, but so many teams not playing to their potential as well. Hannah, you say that. They are the worst performing team in 2023. They're losing Wilfried Zaha at the end of the season, so maybe he's not going to be the full effort. And being realistic, they're only 3 points off the drop. There is a lot of potential for Palace to go down. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm a little bit tired, so at least I got on and did a stream tonight. I'll be back tomorrow, I believe, for the Champions League. Let me just check who's on tomorrow. who is on tomorrow? We have got Man City, Leipzig, or Porto, Inter. Oh, I don't fancy those, but I'll do Man City, Leipzig anyway, because that game is 1-1 at the moment. I'll go for I'm going to go for Man City, Leipzig tomorrow night, and then of course Liverpool v Real Madrid on Wednesday. I will catch you then, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you very soon, and subscribe.